Vinaka family, Vinaka here from Village to World. Just want to say thank you again to everybody that followed us and liked our stuff and shared our stuff and also subscribed to our stuff. This episode we've got Mereseini Leivere. For those who had seen we in the family, we know as Memz, and she was able to crack the Fiji 15s and the 7s for the women's team. Interesting thing about Memz is that 3 years ago she decided to go have a crack. She quit her day job, sold her car, packed up and pretty much took off to Fiji to have a crack and follow her dreams. And pretty much chatted about everything about her life, how it was for her, especially for a Fijian girl, Aussie born, to her go back home and have a crack. It was a bit tough at the start, and then she was able to assimilate into the team. But yeah, it was an interesting chat we had, and we just want to say again, big Vinaka to Memz for coming through, for sharing her story and spending the time with us. So hope you guys enjoy.
My flag in the sky, I'm proud of 679. From my land I would die, and you know I don't lie. Ono B2GY, ono B2GY, ono B2GY, ono
Vinaka was ready,
B2GY.
and welcome to another episode of Village to the World. It's your host Billy Q and our boy Pastor P.
Yep.
Mr. Phil Samuels like the area, and also our special guest today, Memz.
Hi.
Boy, we haven't even started it. We're already cracking up.
I'm just chatting.
So for everybody out there that don't know who Memz is, Memz has gone on to represent Fiji in the 7s for the women's, and also for Southern Districts,
Stop it.
Primary 2 Blues, a couple other rep squads and all that. But yeah, we're happy to have you on, Memz. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a while since we last seen ya.
I know, like what, 3 years?
Yeah, I think the last time was that 15s game when you
Yeah,
guys came up to
3
Newcastle.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a while.
So for those guys out at home wondering where you from, village, where'd you grow up, and yeah, just some facts about you.
Some facts. So my dad's from Nangando, Nandi. So shout out to
Oh.
everyone from Nandi.
Oh, my tavus.
And my mum's from Molevu, Vinumbalavulao.
Wow.
Yeah, born and raised in Sydney, Australia, home. But currently 50-50, I guess. Here in Fiji.
Ah, okay. Wow, that's hectic.
Anything else?
Wow. We feel very honoured to have
Yeah,
Memz here.
it's not every day you get to hang out with someone that represent Fijian 7s.
Well,
Just saying.
Background in athletics.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah, how did it all start out for you? Like you with sports background, athletics? Was it something you did from when you were young, or?
Yeah, so I grew up athletics, went to a sports school, graduated in an educational, like, private school, just 'cause, you want to be better when you finish from high school.
Yeah.
Started athletics, went to, like, state, nationals, all that kind of stuff. And then, obviously, when you finish, there's not much that you can do. But then, at the same time, I fell in love with team sports. I like being around people. It's better, rather than just on yourself, like by yourself on the track. So then I started playing OzTag, which was good. And then only started playing rugby 3 years ago. So just a little side note, 4 years ago when Fiji won gold, I had no idea that we won. I'm probably like the worst Fijian right now.
That's criminal, what you just said.
Yeah, but just gotta put it there. That's the truth. Didn't know what rugby was, rugby union. Didn't know what 7s was, because I grew up in a league family, so league through and through. And then I've made the switch to start to learn playing rugby union.
So you start up playing rugby league.
Yeah. So, but you can back then you could only go to like year 6, or because girls start developing. You can't play with the boys anymore because there was no women's comp back then. So then I just stopped contact altogether, and non-contact was OzTag playing mixed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So rugby league, athletics, rugby league, but rugby union was still foreign kind of thing.
Yeah. No idea.
And then what made you sort of like jump over? Was it because like
one of my friends. So shout out to Babsy if you're watching this.
Full of Babsy.
She was always like, bro, you should come and play rugby union. And I was like, oh, nah. Like, that's not for me. She's like, no, you just like run good lines, like, you know, playing Oztag. And I was just like, nah, that's not for me. You're Fijian. That's your nature. Everybody plays.
Come natural for you.
Yeah, come natural for you. And I was like, oh, nah. And because she was so like persistent in asking, I was like, all right, I'll come down and have a run. Played my first game down in Campbelltown and haven't looked back since.
Wow. Was that what team was that for? The Queens? Hello Queens or something?
They were hosting the tournament at the time, so I think it's like Fisher's Ghost.
Oh, right.
That tournament. But I played sevens, started with Sydney Uni. And then
Sydney
yeah.
Uni.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you find the transition? Was it easy? Was it hard from league to union? Was there a lot of learning?
Yeah, I found that I was unfit. And like, you know, there's so much room, but like, you know, any Fijians, most of us have wheels. So I'd use that to my advantage and play to my strengths. But the whole concept of like placing the ball instead of like getting up for a tackle and playing the ball, that was different. And I was like, oh, okay, right, got to get tackled, but place the ball.
Yeah. So that was a bit of getting used to you to do it.
Yeah. Even now, I still don't know some of the rules, and I'm just like, oh, just go with it. Like.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with team sports. Like, you got people around you that will be like, you can sort of just like look at what they're doing as well, and you're not sure what they're doing.
So yeah, I had to watch games. Like, I finally watched the boys play. Like a week later, after that, because I was in Thailand on a Kentucky trip, like living life. Living life, and the boys won gold, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's mad. And then come home and everyone's like, did you see VTTW? Like, I think Sydney went down.
Jimbo, Jimbo, they done, or was that for the World Rugby League? Where they done the Liverpool thing.
Yeah, I think that was rugby league.
Rugby league. But like, I think everyone that was Fijian was like on a bender or like celebrating. You know, Fiji won, Fiji won, and then like worldwide. And I was just like, in my rock. Didn't know what it was till like a week later, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, you say that after year 6, like you didn't think there was like opportunities for the girls to carry on playing contact sports because like there was nothing much going, and then you went to rugby, but you grew up watching and playing rugby league.
Yeah.
And then you transitioned to sevens.
Yeah. So it wasn't till 3 years ago that I was like, oh, I'll give it a crack. And then I tried to read the manual, like the book, and everyone's like, no, you gotta play to like learn quicker. And I was like, okay, just fill in here, go here to any tournament. And I was just like, okay, I'll just have a crack.
Wow.
And then
it's pretty crazy because like watching you on the field, like it's sort of like, oh, she's been playing for years. Like, I know you're that good, like, you know. Yep. But then to just hear that, like, you had to sort of like learn union again, and but it sort of made it easier because you had the athletics background.
Yeah, athletics background. I guess it comes natural once you're on the field.
And how about making the trip to Viti? Do you have a crack at the sevens or 15s, which you also did?
Yeah,
how was that?
That was crazy. So the pathway for that was, I'm not sure if you remember, we had the New South Wales Fiji Rugby Union.
Yep.
And the boys were dominating that comp for like Pacific Cup and stuff. And then they put in a girls squad, and Benny was our head coach.
Yeah.
Shout out to Benny.
Benny, no way.
But that was the pathway. And so we rocked up to Scone Sevens, had a like rip over tournament, but still I was learning. Captained the side, which was like a massive privilege for me. But to like not pretend, but have that confidence to know that I was doing what I had to be, like what had to get done.
Yeah.
And then Lloyd.
Lloyd Hazelman. Oh, not Lloyd Cork.
Yeah.
Bulla Lloyd, where have you been?
Yeah, hiding under your rock.
Presidente.
So Lloyd, Sarah Nangama, shout out to Sarah.
Says. That's all says.
Yeah, so Sarah Nangama and Benny all messaged me and was just like, you had a blinder, like would you consider, if the opportunity came across, would you play for Australia or for Fiji? And I was like, oh, they have that?
I can do that?
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, Australia would be nice, but I thought like, I'm a bit too old. Like I started peaking at the back end where everyone's learning from like 16 up, you know? And then I was like, nah, I'll go Fiji. Like And then Benny was like, why? I'm like, oh, evens out the playing field a bit. Like, Aussies are stacked. Fiji is still at the bottom, like, compared to the men's.
Yeah.
The women's team is still not hurt.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that they were doing well. Like, I had to learn Fiji back in a few years ago. We finished 4th on the circuit.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, we were up there, but how come we didn't get acknowledgement for it?
Yeah.
And then the next year we were like down at the bottom and finished 8th or 9th.
So it's like not consistent.
Yeah, not consistent. So I was like, oh no, Fiji for sure. I'll give it a crack. And I guess for me, I was like doing a bit of soul searching, like back to your roots, because I'm not sure about you guys, but growing up here, like everything's for you. And then it's like, as you get older, it's like, oh, you're not Fijian, you're Australian when you go back home to Fiji.
Yeah. So
and then when you're here, they're like, nah, you're Fijian. And it's like, well, what am I?
where do I go?
Yeah,
Just stuck
like,
in the middle
who
kind
am
of
I?
thing.
So, yeah. So then from then, I was just like, nah, Fiji. I'll stick with Fiji and just try and have a crack.
Yeah.
Well, it's paid off. It's paid dividends for you, and we're proud of how far you've come, and the best is still yet to come. But
2021 is the year, guys.
100. But
Thank
even
you,
just coming today, like you've just come from your game.
Yeah.
Like, what's like a normal week for Memz? It's like you played yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Like you just like women's sport has come a long way.
It has.
Yeah, and even just seeing the game develop, like it's still, I reckon it's still
Still a lot of work to do, but it's a stepping stone in the right direction. Like Monday I still try and play OzTag. I've only just started doing that again.
Yeah.
So Monday will be like OzTag and gym if I'm not at work, and then Tuesday is 2 Blues training, so 15s.
Shout out to 2 Blues. Yeah, para.
To what?
And that's my first like proper 15s club that I've joined.
Mad.
And then Wednesdays is Southern Districts, so I train for that. And then Thursday, obviously 2 Blues again. So it's like 7s, 15s. 15, 7s, 15s. And then Friday night's the only night that I have off. And that's probably like my recovery night and get ready, because Saturday is 15s and every second Sunday is 7s. So some weekends I'll play like Saturday and then back it up Sunday. And then,
Well, you're super fit then.
heaps.
Thanks.
Nah.
All the young girls watching out there, definitely if Memz can do it, 100%.
Alright.
Yeah. My sister, start running.
No pressure.
Far out. So, like, what's your drive at the moment? Like you know, obviously you're turning up, you're training, you're very focused, but like, what gets Memz going every day? Like to continue pursuing, your dreams.
Just to be the best version of myself.
Mate.
Like staying hungry, I guess. That's the big thing. Like growing up, we didn't have people to look up to. So it's like, oh yeah, I'll hopefully set a mark, pave the way for someone, and then others can follow. Especially for Fijians, that's something that we struggle with.
Yeah, true. Like just sort of like leaving breadcrumbs so that people follow and sort of like follow. Because like with you taking the step to go VT to play, that would have been a big decision too.
Oh,
like,
that was rough.
Would have been scary as.
Yeah. Susu Mandraya was my nickname. But mind you, there's people in the squad that's never been to their village. Like I had to learn what it actually meant. Like I was offended, and then as time went, I had to like earn everyone's respect in the team, which is a given. Like, you can't just come in thinking, oh yeah, you're mad. Didn't know anything about sevens.
Walk us through the decision making of, you know what, I'm going to leave Australia. I want to leave like the comforts and all this stuff I got going on here just to go over and have a crack.
I guess it was Olympics was at the back of my head.
Yeah.
But that was from running. So, growing up I had Kathy Freeman and Flojo. And I was always like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a crack and be one of the first Pacific Islanders or Fijians to be in the Olympics for running. And then obviously that shifted. And it was always in the back of my mind. So I just thought about it. I'd say pray about it, but I did yes and no, but I think my parents prayed about it more than I did. And then it just flourished from there.
Yeah, taking the gamble away.
Yeah.
Man.
But it was crazy because, you graduate from high school. It's like like mandatory. You go to uni or to TAFE. You get a job, worked at the 9 to 5. I've done all that, but I'd sit in the office like hotel manager, and I'd just be like, like on the computer, but thinking about sports all day. Like, surely there's something out there for me. And then as soon as this presented itself, I was like, quit my job, sold my car, like.
Who'd you sell the car to?
Jimbo. Jimbo Jacks. God's gift to ladies. Shout out to you, bro.
Oh wow! So Jimbo's cars, that's your old car.
The old, yeah.
Wow.
It's a new car now, but.
So you quit your job, sold everything, and just took off.
Pretty much. It was coming back to the back end of the year. So like festive season, everyone, getting ready to party. And I received a message from the coaches, like, because Sarah and Benny and Lloyd have already done the back end. I just had to say yes and go. Also, shout out to Naomi. Naomi made that possible.
Shout out Naomi.
Yeah. And then it was like, Fiji time, great organisation. Head coach Tony Vula at the time was like, she needs to be here by like the 18th of December. We go into camp just a week before Christmas. And I was like, like, okay. So I had to give my notice right then and there for work. Yeah. Paid for my airfares. And then just waited. And then he was like, yeah, we have a 9 a.m. Like, she needs to be here on Monday. And he's telling me on Thursday.
Wow.
And I flew out on Sunday. But before that, everyone was just like celebrating festive season.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas parties, rah. And I was just like, guys, breaking news. I'm going to Fiji for I don't know how long. And everyone's just like, right, we're going to celebrate. I'm like, no, I'm trying to become an elite athlete. Yeah.
So, and then you got there, and then what was the process like? I got there,
had the meeting with Tony Vula at the time. He rocked up like an hour late. Fiji time. And I was like, shitting bricks the whole time. Like, going to meet the head coach. I didn't know anything. And he asked me, what position do you play? I'm like, wing. Because, again, I think I only played like 3 or 4 tournaments. Yeah. And then I went over. So I was still very fresh to the game, saying that I could make the wing spot or can play wing. And no.
And then you met the other wing as well.
And then I met the other wings. I'm like, now I know why you're the winger. Yeah, so it was crazy. And then, from then I was just like, work-ons. The touring's it was crazy because the team, sometimes we lack in discipline. I guess that's for, all of us. Yeah. Everyone lacks discipline. But sometimes I was thinking like, oh, man, I'm putting in the hard yards at training. I'm watching my diet. I'm going to bed. Weekends after training, I'll go home and rest. Yeah. I know some of my teammates still now going to the nightclubs, have a few, which is fine, balance. But I was just like, why am I not getting picked? Obviously lost confidence, mental health, that's a big issue. I was, started going downhill and started focusing on all the rubbish and not the stuff that I needed to get to where I was going. And then we had the 15s trials. Out of random, we had 15s trials for a tour that was coming to Australia. And I was like, oh, this is my way to go home. Because I've already, you pay for your return flight because you're an Aussie citizen. Yeah. And obviously you overstay. Yeah. And then I was just like, and I was paying all this out of my pocket.
Wow.
Yeah, and still to this day, if I go back, it would have to be out of my pocket. Yeah. So, yeah, I was just like, oh, this is crazy. I'll have a crack. And everyone's like, Memz, what do you want to play? Wing. Okay. So I was like, all right. But 15s is a lot different to 7s, you know. Well, now that I know that. But yeah, so I had a crack at that. And then when they named the final squad, they were like, oh, we have to start training on Monday. So I think it was Friday was the trials. But prior to that, our 7 squad, whole squad got told, no, we can't trial for the 15s because your 7s players, you can't go across and then come back in case of injury. It's just like that. If you're in 7s, you stay in 7s and not go touch 15s or whatever. Yeah. And so no one in our 7 squad trialed except for me because I messaged coach and I was like, look, I'm going nowhere with 7s. I'm not touring. I just want to play. Yeah. Just want to learn. And then he was like, we all finished training and then some of the girls are like, Memz, ask. And then we all go together. And like, you know, Fiji, like girls especially, like if you're told no from like your tata, your nana, that's how you see your coach in Fiji.
Yeah,
It's just like, respect, yeah. You're just like, okay, back into your shelter. Like he said no. He said no to everybody, and I just messaged him on the message, and I was like, no, I want to go, blah, blah, blah. And he ended up dropping me there.
Oh, wow.
Dropping to the 15s,
yeah,
to the
he's
trial.
like, yeah, dropping me to the trials. Straight after that, all the girls are like, Memz, like, you bit, like, what? Like, how come you went, rah, rah? And I was just like, bro, just say what you need to say to coach, and he'll, like, listen.
Yeah.
So that was my opening. Like,
Wow.
I was shocked, like, that he dropped me there. And then I think halfway through the trials, the Sevens girls came and watched, like, just for support.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the squad was named, and then I had to say to the 15s coach, like, oh, I'm actually in the 7 squad. And he's like, well, what do you want, 15s or 7s? And I'm like, oh, both.
Look at you.
Like, yeah, like, you can't just say that to me. Like, I'm trying to make it in 7s, but I don't want to let this opportunity go as well. So came across, did the whole 7s camping for a week, all that training, and then still made time to go to 15s. And then when the final squad was released, I was part of that, and I was like, yes, I'm going home. But like at the same time, I've kind of made it one step forward, so I get to wear the white jersey.
Yeah.
But it was for 15s, like, and I was still not satisfied.
You wanted the 7s,
I wanted the 7s, yeah.
Wow.
But 15s gave you your first crack at the white jersey.
At the white jersey, yeah. So we toured in Canberra, and then Newcastle, where you came and watched
Yeah.
stuff. Thanks for the support, bro. Yeah, and then went back to Fiji with the girls. Started training, but then we had a change of coaches, or like yeah, our 15s coach became our 7s coach, and he called everyone in. Like he brought half of the 15s girls, dropped some of the old girls, and brought the like it was a bit of 7s, 15s, old girls.
So you
new
mixed
girls.
it all up.
Yeah, mixed it all up, and then they went to circuit on Glendale. I didn't get picked again, and I was like, like, all right, props to my teammate Anna Maria, who's the best winger for us for Fiji, and I was just like, oh, like again, I didn't get picked.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until our Morris coach was just like, Memz, why don't you try playing in the forwards? Like, and I'm like, forwards? That's the big girls. Like, like
I'm not a forward.
I mean, I'm a big girl, but like, that's not for me. Like, I don't like. Like, I'm still learning the game. And we had a trial against Army back in Fiji. After that, I was like, I am a forward. I am owning this. This is my spot, like in 7s. And then when it comes to 15s, I'm like, okay, back to the wing. Like, let the girls, all the big ones, do the running. But yeah, so that was like a game changer for me. But for me to come home, like it took 3 years to finally have a crack and the doors open. After we had that transition, so obviously, like, they named the 12. And then when it's time to march in back to camp, I didn't get named.
Yeah.
And because at the same time, I dislocated my shoulder, so I was injured.
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything, and I was, like, useless, you know? So I was just doing rehab. I went off to Taviuni for the first time with one of my teammates back she's in Japan now on a contract for 7s, which is amazing. Yeah. Went there and, like, got the Fiji Bombo, swimming, like... It was good because I've never been anywhere else besides Denarau and Tropic Towers, and then like all the nightclubs in Viti. But as time went, I got to experience the real Fiji, and that helped with like my soul searching walk as well.
Yeah. I think it sort of like gave you like the extra boost of like chasing for the white jersey when you went to like the uni. And so
seen that, like, went to my dad's village because I grew up with mum. My parents are not together.
Yeah.
So, like, just all little factors contributed. And then when I finally, like, had a break through, I was just like, so at that time, that didn't happen because of this, but I learnt this. And then, you know, reflection was a big thing that, you know, I had to constantly do. And then it was like, obviously that door didn't open at the time because it wasn't my time. And then I actually came home. I gave up the 7s dream. That I think we caught up maybe, or maybe it was just over the messaging, and I was like, you know, forget Fijiana 7s. Like, it's so rigged. There's politics. Like, you know, just what anyone would say if they're not having a crack.
Yeah.
And I was just like anti-sevens. Came home, and I think I was home for like a good 7-8 months, and then the Myra's sevens is in March, so I came home August that year, and then obviously spent Christmas, and then January, February, March. I was like, okay. The first year I played, I dislocated my shoulder, couldn't play, and then the second year, this was the second year coming, and I was like, I want to go back and make my mark.
Yeah.
Obviously behind all that, I was here, I joined Southern Districts, did a lot of training, learnt a lot of things, like grew as a player. My coach, he put so much like energy and effort into like teaching me the simple catch and pass, because it's different, like field to here, like you've got to make that pass. Tackling, it was just a whole nother game for me, and I was like, we don't even do this in Viti, and we're like up here, you know, like club level standard here was so big, and I was just like, okay, teach me everything I need to know. By the time March came around, our Southern Districts team actually went to Borneo to play, which is like a really big comp for sevens, like Darwin sevens, really hot, like whatever. And I told my coach, like, nah, I've already booked my tickets to go to Fiji to have a crack at
The Murray Sevens.
Murray sevens. And then so the girls went off. It was the same weekend, so I was like playing Fiji in Murray sevens, but thinking of the Southern Districts girls, you know, because you're just loyal, like you know, it's your club. It's like check up how the girls are doing. They were seeing how I was going, but I got there, and scrunchies was the thing. Scrunchies was the thing. So I had like my nails done, I had like lashes going, and my hair was all
And you rocked
great,
up
like,
to Fiji.
yeah, got there, and everyone was like, are you here for like a model run, like a run show, or are you here to play rugby? Like, because majority of the girls in Viti have short hair, probably because of the heat, or that's how they, you know, tradition, culture.
Yeah.
They just looked at me like, Memz, what are you doing? Like,
You've been here before. You should know.
My best mates were like, hello, so someone drives back, you know, like, okay. Like, boss, what are you doing? And I was just like, oh.
Shout out to Pei Nangatalewu.
She'd love that. But yeah, it was a good, like, my aim for that tournament was to just finish it, because I got injured on the first or second game for Myra's, the previous year. Yeah. So my aim was to finish. And then when we finished, like, I had a blinder of a game. Like, I was just, and I actually scored, I think that I scored the opening try.
Yeah.
And it wasn't expected of me, like, just, you know, big forwards.
Yeah.
I considered myself unfit when I went over. But, like, game fitness, I had it together, yeah. That finished, and then the current coach, who I've never met, Sifuli.
Oh, yeah.
At the time, he released his, like, Dream Team 7.
Oh, man.
Like, for the tournament, or Dream Team 12, and I was number 1 on the list. And I was like, holy, like.
So you're sort of like the best players from that tournament.
Yeah, and like pretty much the whole 7 or the starting 7 that he had, it was all national players, like current.
Yeah.
But they were just in different positions, because
Yeah.
you know, everyone goes back to their clubs and plays. But the number 1 spot was me, and I was just like, oh, like, that's funny, because I've been trying to have a crack and getting nowhere. So that from that weekend, he was trying to get me back into the squad.
Yeah.
And was just like, oh, we need you to come, like, stay, blah, blah. And I was just like, I can't do it. I just signed by Tigers contract here.
Yeah.
For West Tigers.
I heard about that.
Harvey.
Because my good mate Neil, he speaks very highly of you.
Oh,
Yeah.
bless him. Good man. So I was just like, I can't commit. But I said to the coach, like, we'll keep in contact once the season finished for Tigers. If you're still looking for players, because it's Olympic year, like the before season. If you're still looking for players, I'd love to come back and have a crack, because I was like, white jersey, 7s, tick, like, got the coach's attention, tick. Olympics is coming around the corner, like, that's another massive tick, like, you know, prep for it. And just from there, I started playing Aon here, which is like a high competition as well. Like, you get to play alongside some of the best in the Aussie team. Like, so all of that happened all last year.
So literally 3 years.
3 years it took me, but it took me a month to get a debut in the white jersey on the world circuit. So like when I look back now,
Mm-hmm.
all that no, go home, come back, go to 15s, it all built up for that 1 month. Of
1 month, it all
prep.
just fell in place.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, this is crazy.
Lucky you didn't go Borneo.
Yeah, like if I went to Borneo, we wouldn't probably be sitting here having the conversation, or I would have missed my boat.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So it fully sort of gave you a crack.
Yeah, fully gave me a crack, and then I told him everything. So I went back. So that was March. I went back in August for my birthday, and also because there was meant to be 15s trials.
Oh wow.
And I was like, I'll give everything a crack. Just because I was hungry for the white jersey. Like the more and more I didn't get it, I wanted it.
Oh.
And I was just like, like dying. But then when I got booked all my flights and everything, got to Fiji, and they said, no, we've rescheduled the 15s. 15s
Oh,
trials.
thanks for letting me know,
Yeah,
guys.
and I was like fuming, like, what the heck? Are you serious? Like, I paid from my own pocket to come and trial like the weekend. I was only there, literally fly in Friday, come back Monday, and start work Tuesday.
Oh.
Like it was just like a long that happened, and then I was like, all right, I'm not gonna waste this. So I just messaged Sayasifuli again, and I was like, hey coach, like not sure what you're up to this weekend, but I'm in town. Just wanted to let you know. Would love to catch up for a coffee or a meeting. And then he was like, yeah, set. Like see you Saturday. I think Saturday 10 a.m. Bro, Gloria Jean's the motor. I'll never forget. I was like, I'll never forget it because I went for a recovery swim. So I had trained with like some of my mates back in VT, and then we went for a recovery swim. And then I was just watching the time, like 5 to 10 or 5 to 11, and I was just like, oh, I have to go there early. But then I was like, is it gonna be like last time? Like I'm waiting around for an hour.
Yeah.
And then I got there. Coach was already there, and I'm like,
Ooh.
I'm late. Like this is bad. Like, oh, what are you doing? And then, no, I was good. I walked in. He was like, all right, what do you want from me?
Oh wow.
I was like, huh? Come again? Like, what do you want from me? And I said, like, coach, I just want a fair playing field. Like, I want to bust my ass off at training for me and for the girls, for the team, for the squad. I want to make sure like selections is pretty fair. Like not just taking someone with experience but no fitness. Like we got to grow the game. And then I was like, there needs to be a contract because I'm going to leave my life again. Like I've just started rebuilding in the 8 months. I need some sort of contract or some sort of, security, I guess. And then the last thing was my Fiji passport. Because for me to play in the Olympics, I have to have a Fiji passport.
Yeah.
Which is still on the works. Lucky Corona happened, so it's got another year to try and get that sorted. But that was my main thing, and like I had bullet points of everything I had. Like I went in prepared, told him everything, and he was just like, "All right, when your season's over, let me know. You'll come back to the squad. Let me work on a few things, like selections, contracts, whatever." And I was like, okay, this is mad. We go like everything, everything that was on my heart that I put out there. He like wrote it down. He, noted it. And then as we went home, he messaged me and was just like, got an update for this is how like you need to do this or fill this to get your passport or have all this paperwork ready.
Wow.
Like your TIN number, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, all right, I got that, got it sorted. And then, so that was August, came back. I finished the season with Tigers, got injured. And then I was like, oh, I got to update Fiji. Like, I'm injured. I broke my foot. And I was like, oh, what's going on? Like, it's not my time. Again, like, but then Tigers were really good with the whole rehab stuff. And I was back running, I'd say, a month before comeback.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so as soon as that was over, like my prehab and rehab and all that, 7 seasons started, like for Aeon, and I was like, I'm so unfit, obviously because I've had that time off on a boot, but I still was getting selected because we were a developing side, or I feel like I had to, I don't know, lead with like strong carries and just like be there because it was a young team that they took for Aeon. So lucky enough, I made all rounds. I got to travel Australia,
Mad.
you know, for free.
Hard.
Like you don't get paid for Aeon, but
Your expenses are paid for.
Yeah,
sort of
like
thing.
hotel, flights, it's done, if you know. And then the last round was Canberra. I was like, oh Lord, I just don't want to get injured. But like we drove down to Canberra with the girls, we came back. That was on Sunday, and my flight to fly out on Fiji, I don't know why, but I booked it on the Monday.
Vinaka.
Yeah, I like, you know, jamming up my week so I didn't have to think about like always on the go. And I was like, bro, like, what are you doing, Memz? Like, you're draining yourself out. Anyways, so we finished, got there, and Ronnie was our SNC at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Ronnie.
Yeah, but I didn't communicate with him that like I've just come out of playing a whole weekend of sevens tournament.
Yeah.
So we got there Monday. Tuesday morning, we had Singatoka Sand Dunes.
Oh,
The good old send-ins.
Yeah, Singatoka Sand Dunes. We had 3 sessions. Singatoka Sand Dunes, then gym, and then like 3 p.m. it was field work. And I was just like, oh, back like right into the swing of things, like no mucking around.
oh.
But yeah, it was crazy. Like it was crazy. But at the same time, 15s were wanting me to come over. So 15s thought I was going over for Oceania because we had to qualify for Rugby World Cup,
Yeah.
which is meant to be this year. And I said yeah, but then so she fully kind of like intercepted that along the way. So, but when I booked all my stuff, I was just communicating with fully, and was just like, all right, I'm coming for sevens. And then the day before I had to leave, or the weekend, I heard from the 15s manager like, oh, we can't wait for you to come, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bro, I came there to trial and I didn't hear anything. You changed everything. I haven't heard from you until now. Just letting you know, like I'm getting off Nandi Airport, I'm going to Singatoka and I'm marching into sevens camp. Like I had to put my foot, like you get kind of pushed around, and if you don't say anything, you don't say anything, you don't get nowhere, you know? So I had to say it, and I feel like I burnt a bridge there, which I didn't want to do, but I had to do it because sevens, I was hungry for sevens, and we hadn't qualified for the Olympics at the time.
Wow.
In October last year. But then at the back end of that, the girls ended up winning Oceania, but I couldn't play. So I had 2 weeks of training, but I couldn't play because I'm not eligible, like Fiji passport. So selections, coach was like, yeah, we want you to play. As much as we want you to play, if you play, the squad will be disqualified. So I had to make that sacrifice, and I was like, Lord, you're testing my patience. Like, it's not happening for me. But yeah, just when the girls train, Fully was amazing. He got me to come down and train with the girls. And they don't usually do that. Like once it's the squad, it's only the squad training. So I was kind of like 14th man because Pei was 13th man. So I was like 14th man and ball girl. Like I was running the ball and the water for them. Oceania last year. And then we marched back into camp, and I just kept working, kept grinding, like doing all what I had to do. And then he really like pulled me in, and he was just like, "Memz, you made Dubai."
Wow.
And I was like, "Huh? Sorry? Come again?" Yeah, he was just like, "You made Dubai," and I was like, "Oh, no, it's not real." And then I saw the names come out on social media, and I was like, on Fiji Rugby page, and I was just like, it's happening. Like, this is what I've been waiting for. Like, it took me 1 month to have a proper crack, but it wasn't a proper crack. It was the
2
years
years
leading up to that moment, and I was just like over the moon.
What was it like wearing that jersey?
Oh, you can't
describe it.
Yeah, you can't describe it. It's so many people in Fiji want to wear that jersey, and then for like an outsider, not really an outsider, but you know, Susamandrai to come in, work their ass off, but not really work as much as everyone thought I was. And then for you to take that spot is like you earn not only Fiji's respect, but your teammates, and that's the only people you want to like please. Because you're playing for each other besides the country and
because
everything else.
at the start it would have been like you said, they were calling you Susamandrai. It was hard.
Yeah, like like close mates would say it like as a joke, but you know, you would know like, oh yeah, Memz like her, and then it's like, oh, can I borrow $10? Like, you know, it's like I had to pay them to be my friend, but like, you know, they didn't know that they were doing that. I didn't feel like I was obliged to do it, but it was just like I wanted to fit in.
And then as it carried on, the respect kind of grew because you kind of put your foot down, eh?
Yeah, and because I had to work my ass off to get there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would you say that like that 2 and a bit years, 3 years, you were trying to make the sevens jersey? If you had got the sevens jersey right when you went the first time,
I would have made a fool out of myself.
like, do you think all the experience leading up to when you finally got it, like, you're like, oh man, all that was worth it because I got to learn this.
It was like icing on the cake. Like, I knew it was my turn. Like, but even though it took forever, at the time I was just like, oh, you're testing me, Lord. Like, you know. And then as soon as I got that breakthrough, I was like, this is my jersey. I want to keep it mine. I don't want, like, you know, I don't want to not do any justice by it because I've trained and, like, put in the hard yards behind the scenes, like, you know, had your blood, sweat, tears and cries, and you just want to perform.
Yeah. Especially because you're like paying for your own fares back and forth.
Back and forth. That's like bank account. $0.
You must be a lot of money, man.
No. Sponsor me.
Any sponsors out there?
No. I don't know what kind of. No, we're not.
Nike.
Because one of the boys said if it doesn't hurt, it's not working, kind of thing. You know, so your bank account was taking a hit. You know, people were talking.
Yeah,
and all
but
that.
like, that's it. Like Nana and Tata were just like, just give it up. Like, come home.
Yeah.
Go back to work. Like, do the normal. And I was like, no. Like, this is not right.
Yeah.
You gotta keep grinding. Like, I guess it comes. Everyone has dreams, aspirations, whatever. Like, you have a big list in your brain, in your mind, and then when you're told no, you think, oh, okay, I made a fool out of myself. Just give it up. Go to the next thing. But I think this was one of the things that I really, really wanted. Like, have all these dreams in my head and like aspirations that I want. But when you focus on something that you love and that you want to achieve, like, everything else doesn't matter. You make time.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow. So from making a change from like rugby league to union and then going over to VT back and forth, paying for your flights, having a crack, not making it and all that stuff. And like, you know, people like calling you Mondray and then earning the respect of your teammates and then getting named in Dubai and then finally to Sydney Sevens.
Yeah. So
how was that?
Unreal. So like, it was Dubai first, and it was a back-to-back tournament. So Dubai, then we went to Cape Town, South Africa. I've been to South Africa before, but just on my own. And then after that was New Zealand, Hamilton Sevens.
Wow.
And then Sydney Sevens. So there was like back-to-backs, and I was like, oh, I'm loving this. Like, and I was getting named. You know, when I got named in the squad, I was just like, Sydney was my main one. Like, even back in Tanivula's time, that was the one that I wanted to make because I wanted to play at home soil, like in front of parents, friends, family. And then, no. And then, no. It's like, no. And then this time, I actually got injured just before Hamilton.
Yeah.
I had, like, injured my ankle during training. And, like, you know, usually I'd be like, oh, just go home, put the ice or whatever. But that whole weekend, I asked coach, like, can I take the game ready home? So it's like the ice machine.
Yeah.
Like, boot compress, and I just game ready the heck out of my ankle from like Friday as soon as we got released till Monday morning 10 a.m. till we had to march back in. And then we had to play Koroko Sevens, and that was like kind of like a trial. So but at the time the girls called themselves the Super Force team because they didn't have to play, so they had extras or they got to muck around, and you were confident enough that you made the squad already to come. And I was like, this is like, if I don't get named for Hamilton, I'm screwed because it's back to back. We take the same girls, and so I was just like, oh, the heavy strapping on the on the ankle, And the girls are like, Memz, we can tell you're injured. I'm like, no, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna get there. So yeah, it was crazy. Like, we played Coral Coast. We ended up winning that tournament, which was really good as like Fijiana development. I don't really think it was development, but we had a few newcomers come along. But it was more like trials and selections for Hamilton. And then coach named the team straight after the tournament. I remember we were sitting in the HPU gym in Singatoka, reads out the list, but he didn't say my name till like right at the bottom. And I was like, mate, you got me. Like, I was like, I'm not going home. Like, I'm not going to New Zealand first, and I'm not going to play Sydney. So like, the dream's over. Like, that was my dream at the time. You know, besides the Olympics, Rugby World Cup, all that kind of stuff. Sydney Sevens.
Just to play in front of your friends and family.
And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, it's fine. And then he was like, oh, and Memz. And then he like looked at me with like, you know, the cheeky grin, and I'm just like, I just want to swear at you. Like, basket, like in my head, and then after that it was just banter, like, oh, you're going home, like, all right, we get it, you're overseas, like, you're going to the city, like, you know, like it was good vibes. But yeah, the feeling to run out from the tunnel, like Bankwest Stadium.
Ooh.
And it's new too. I didn't get to play because Tigers was there. So when I was here last year, that's a home game. Home ground for Tigers.
Wow.
And I didn't get to play with the girls. Obviously, I didn't get selected in the team. Fine. So I was like, oh, didn't get to play Bankwest. But when I walked out on the field in the white jersey, I was like, this is better than me even thinking or like being upset that I didn't make Tigers playing at Bankwest. It was, I can't fault it. And like to have my parents there, my aunties, my uncles, my grandma was watching, and it's like Sabbath, you know.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not gonna watch, but like everyone's cheering, and I'm just like, oh, like my sister drove down from the country, like just for the day, just to watch. I didn't even get to see her. I didn't get to see like heaps of my family or friends, and because we're so in like our zone.
Yeah.
We don't really go around to the crowd until after.
Yeah.
And so most people, like I was just getting messages like bombarded, like overwhelmed with so much love and support, and I was like, oh my gosh, like they actually came and watched me play, but
That's sick.
I didn't get to see them personally. Like I
Yeah.
would have loved to, but
It was just in your zone kind of thing.
yeah.
Because I was telling Phil before, like it wasn't until you started having a crack at the sevens where my focus kind of shifted to the female team as well. I was like, oh, I wonder how Memz is going, you know?
Yeah,
Oh, she didn't make it.
I
Okay,
feel like
it's all
that's
right,
the same
And
for
so
me.
everybody's just like, and when you made it at seven, Hamilton and then Sydney, and it was
Yeah.
like, wow, like we've seen her journey come through.
Yeah,
And to play in front of your family and that would have been crazy.
it was. I would never forget it. And I scored the winning try, not bragging, but like I scored the winning try. Yeah.
What size is the jacket?
That's too small for you. But again, that was my first try on the world circuit. So I didn't score in Dubai, didn't score in Hamilton, didn't score in South Africa, but I scored in Sydney on home soil, right in front of Benny. So he got like, you know, we did sessions together. He put in so much out, like, you know, effort and whatever to get me prepped to go the first time around.
Yeah.
And he's always been in my back on, like, you all right? Like, just checking up on me, mental health, like, you know, just someone to vent to about life in Viti.
Yep.
He was there. But for me to play, like, not only my parents and everyone, but him, because he knows the journey that I've been through.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, it paid off. It paid off. Like,
Yeah.
It was good. It was good.
Because he's been there from the start.
Yeah.
Man.
He was the one who, like, told me to pick, besides Sarah and Lloyd and Naomi. Like, if it wasn't for New South Wales Rugby League, sorry, New South Wales Rugby Union, Fiji New South Wales Rugby Union, like, there would be no Memz in the Fijiana squad.
Yeah. Wow.
100%.
Yeah, it's like Benny, like he I think he's good at that in like pushing people
Push it, yeah.
into sort of, because he sort of like sees the potential and then he just like tweaks it and like, you gotta work on this, but the bigger
But
picture is
sometimes
just
it's like, shut up, Benny. Like,
okay, stop
right
now,
now.
Benny.
No, but it's good. Like, it's always good to have someone in my corner like that. That's not family. So it's just like, you know, when your parents or brother and sister tell you something, you're just like, like,
Yeah.
kind of, yalo kata kata. You're just like, don't talk to me right now. You don't know. But no, it was good. It was amazing. And so that's the only try, the best try that I can think of, because it was a tie at the time. And I wasn't even meant to go on the field. I just ran on. I was like, coach, like subbing. And then he was like, nah, Memz, like, it's all right. Like, I think we had like 2 or 3 minutes left of the game. Yeah. And he was like, that. And I was like, coach. And then I just started running on. Like, I already gave my sub card. And it was like a penalty and like scrum. And I was like, Russ, like, Nangasao, like, get off. Like, to one of my teammates. And she's like, like,
what's going on?
And I was just like, off. And then, but like, yeah, ended up scoring the winning try against USA. And that, like,
And USA is pretty good too. Like
they finished 4th this year.
Wow.
I mean, like, the season. But yeah, and we just had a cracker of a tournament. Fell short against Canada.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have made semis, and who knows what. Like, but we were building as a team. Like, I guess for me, I was building myself as a person and being the best I could be. like for my team, and then at the same time there was little building blocks like Dubai. We performed, we finished here, and then Cape Town the next week we moved up the table, and then Sydney, Hamilton, and then Sydney, and we just kept building. So who knows where we would have ended up if Corona didn't happen.
Yeah, that's
But
quite
we were on
dangerous.
track.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, no, it's just awesome seeing like the journey you've been on and how far you've come, because like you say, the challenges of like learning it, and then you know being like not being announced in the team, and you know just going back and forth. Like the mental games would have been
Hard.
like it would have been really really hard, and then you're like, nah, you know what, I'm gonna give it another crack. Tosso.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna go do
What
it
do you
again.
say, Phil? Tosso?
Tosso gonna tosso.
Tosso gonna tosso.
Fire gonna fire. Hey? You've
Pretty
been doing that for
much.
3 years.
Yeah.
And it paid off.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
worth it.
It was.
It's because you had your dream, like, don the white jersey at sevens.
Yeah.
You know.
And then had a little detour around
Yeah.
the obstacle, but came back to where I wanted to accomplish. And it was just like, oh, there's no better feeling.
Yeah, because that's something we try and talk about here. Like, is pretty much like if you've got a dream, like, you know, work at it. Like, you know, when you come back through the first obstacle, you just not just pretty much, oh, you know what, it's not gonna work. You know, walk.
It's a dead end. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I think that's what we struggle with. Not just Fijians, but everybody. Like you come, you hit a brick wall, and it's like, yeah, nah, sit. Wash my hands here. Go try something else.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, bro, what if you actually put all your eggs in one basket? And I was always taught, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Like distribute them. But it's like, it's exhausting. Trying to do this, then this, then this, and this, which
Yeah.
I kind of did do.
Yeah.
And then once I knew that I had, like, there was no other option, because Nananda was just like, you're going nowhere with this rugby that you do. And then now they don't even like ask any questions. They okay, we're coming to support you. Let us know. You know? And back in the day, it wasn't like that. Like I'd be going to everything on my own or going with my teammates. Now it's like, oh, where are you playing? We want to come and watch.
Oh, that's
Where
awesome.
Before it's like going to the brothers' games, and I'm like, oh, my brother doesn't even play professional anymore. Like, you know, nah. But love you, Frank. But yeah, it's just good, like, not to be like it's a male dominant sport.
It is.
And for someone in like a Fijian female to excel in it, I was just like, oh, hands down. Like from here.
Speaking of that, like women in sport is growing massive at the moment, and rightly so. But we had a chat before. You can definitely tell that like especially with our culture and our people, it's sometimes it's looked down upon. Every time if just say a young girl wants to start playing footy,
Belong in the kitchen.
yeah, like I think that we need to.
Bring the sasa out.
Oh man, like every time we have a game of touch with the family,
Yeah.
you see all the boys playing touch, and then next minute the girls are in the corner, or they'll find a netball court, or you know they're prepping. That needs to change. Eh? Like, have you noticed the change, like in the Islander community?
Personally, yes and no. I've noticed, like today, there were a lot more Islanders or Fijians that were playing sevens. And then obviously 15s, there's so much more like Islanders and Fijians playing. But it has changed. Like, I don't know what it was like before because I'm only still new. Like, you know, still learning the ropes to the course, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, it's come a long way, but there's still so much work to do, especially with our like tumble culture. Like, do this, do that. No culture, like culture.
Oh no! Don't touch the footy ball. That's for the boys.
That's for the boys. Go back to the kitchen, make your dad tea and coffee.
Oh man! Hey, we might hit a nerve there.
Happy Father's Day.
Nah, but I definitely we love what you're doing. Like, you're a great role model, and you know I've got a little sister, and I hope that she feels confident enough to chase her dreams the same way you do.
100%. Everyone needs to, like, I guess we're in today's society where you can change careers 50,000 times if you want to.
100%.
So have a crack, girls.
Literally 3 years. That whole story of just your rugby journey was crazy. Like, I don't think anyone knows
anyone knows it.
No.
Yeah, everyone just thinks, oh yeah, like got lucky or like just walked in. No, no. There was so many tears, so many like ups and downs, roller coasters, so many frustrations. Like when I thought I was peaking, I was actually like peaking from the bottom. And
You're picking here and everyone's picking up here.
up here, and it's like, oh, okay, right, no, not that. All right. But yeah, just to excel and finally like the reward, it's like you can't describe it. It's the best feeling.
How is like the girls are doing a great job, the Fijiana girls and all the girls back in Viti. But how has it been like? Has it been hard dealing with like criticism on social media and things like that for the girls?
100%.
Mental health.
And you know, we don't. It's like tumble again to talk about mental health. So talk about rugby, girls playing rugby in general, and then it's like the whole homosexuality. Like you can't be in your comfort zone. You can't do anything, and then it's like. We win today, and it's like, yes, toso Fijiana toso. We lose tomorrow, and it's like, yeah, because they're all panikeke, the whole squad.
Oh man, that's so true.
And it's like, yeah, because they're like what, holding hands, and you know, like it's just, come on, guys.
Cyberbullying.
Like, yeah, but like people at home, they don't know that it hits us hard. Like we're shedding tears in the room. Like even now, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah,
because it's like
100%.
ripping off the band-aid, but then you're stabbing the knife in.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you for me or against me? Like, but then when the boys perform, it's the same thing. And it's just not, it's not like, I don't know, what's the word that I could use? It's not healthy. It's not healthy. But like, I guess with the boys, they've got the high standard that, I don't know if you remember, but towards the beginning of the last circuit, they were down and we were doing better than them.
You
so
guys
everyone was just like, oh, Fijiana. To us, we're just like, we love that. But our coach, Saisefuli, drilled it in our heads like, these people don't know you. They're just jumping on the bandwagon. Let them jump. Like, we just keep focused and keep going. And I was just like, wow, what a coach. Like, I think he's the game changer besides everyone else. Like, the team pulling in their part.
Just keeping everyone grounded and focused. Man.
Even like his support crew, like Aiskota Nimbao, Jim Volavola, Sam Bola, you know, like big names in Viti.
Yeah.
For them to be like giving up their time. Like these men probably don't get paid. It's voluntary.
Wow.
Like the rest of the crew, I don't know if coach gets paid or not, but like the other boys, I know that they don't. They come for the willness of their heart, like the goodness of their heart, just to, because Kotanimba was the one who said, like, it hurts him to see the Fijiana women's team not succeeding and then the people of Fiji backlashing on that. So he wanted to change that stigma, and it's slowly working.
It is awesome. Awesome. Everyone at home, get behind them. Get behind them. Support them properly. Jokes all up. No, because we're all one family. You know what I mean?
I mean, if we win, we all win.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Like I was lucky to come across fully in USP, like when he was
He's
helping
educated,
out.
very switched on.
Like I think his approach to rugby is like, because he's educated, like you know, it's just so awesome the way the boys listened to him back then, and then when I found out that he was on with the sevens with the girls, I was like,
I
boy,
think
this
you
guy's
messaged
gonna,
me.
yeah, I was like,
You
he's
sent me a
gonna,
message and you was like, he's gonna change the game.
yeah, I was like,
Wow.
he's gonna be good. Like he's, I don't know, full because he came through the system as well, right?
Yeah, he came through
Suva, rugby, and
he
Fiji
knows.
rugby.
He's done the hard yards, and it's easier to like speak from experience as well. When you've gone through it, you know like all the stuff that you need to do prior to achieving what you need to achieve.
And he would have also seen the dynamics of like overseas girls or boys coming into play. He'd have
Yeah,
already known, okay, sweet, I need to watch out because
need
you
to
know,
watch out. But
mentally-
now I don't even feel like I'm from overseas.
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
just
no.
like, I can't wait to go home. I just like, even now I'm like, when's the borders opening? I'm first flight home. Like, and it was like, you are home. It's like, no, my other home. Like,
Where they actually love me over there.
it's crazy. Like, even just walking down Suva, like, love people in Fiji and stuff, but just let me shop, man. Like, not even. No. But also shout out to Joey and Cabman for that. They're like idols in Viti.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Who,
Rockin'
Joe? Who?
Cab,
Rockin'
huh?
Cab.
Rockin' Cab. Comedians like, when it comes on TV, I'm like recording and then send it to them. Like, guys, you're famous in Fiji. Like, you're well known everywhere. But like, people look up to them so much, and I'm just like, wow. Like, what they do needs to be put. Like, it needs to be out there in Fiji. And then, like, what you guys are doing is excellent. Like,
Thanks.
if this doesn't, if the borders are open, I would ask for this interview to be over there.
Please.
Pay for my flights.
Vodafone, Digicel.
We'll bring Rock and Cab with us.
Yeah. Media attention.
They can get the sponsor. We just want the free trip.
Fiji Rugby. Get us on.
Yeah. But no, thanks for having me, guys. That's crazy.
Nah, it's just
Who would've
awesome,
thought?
man.
All this.
It's been a long ride. Definitely been a long ride.
Yeah.
What about the local talent there? Is there a lot of young girls?
So much. There's so much talent.
A lot of young superstars in the making coming up?
100%.
Oh, wow.
I think but the thing that we need to implement at a young age is discipline
Yep.
and attitude.
Wow, right. Not this Fiji time type of stuff.
Yeah, Fiji time. That's a whole nother topic. But yeah, no, just even like if training gets hard, keep going. Like we have some 16, 17, 18-year-olds that come join the squad that are like, you know, potential to fill in, like, because we're all old, like not old, but in the back end of our career, even though I've just debuted.
I'm ready to retire, guys.
Yeah, like,
Got the jersey. Thank you. Bye.
one hit, one die.
I just gotta try Sydney Sevens. I'm done.
No, but you know, like just a pathway, like, or development or like stepping stone. Training gets hard. Like you'll see, we've got people in our squad that's 30 and they will be doing the hard yards, grinding away. Like, yeah, they may have 10 years experience, but their body's not going to hold up forever. And then you have the young up-and-comings that are just like, got a little tweak here. Coach, like I stepped in the pothole because the field wasn't like, come on, guys, pull your head in. Like, you're the future. So, yeah, I just feel like discipline, attitude, and just us supporting them instead of trying to break them down.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, you dropped some gold today, Memz. Thank you.
You
Man.
dropped a lot of gems.
Yeah.
Inspiration.
Stop.
Oh. No, because after you played up in Newcastle, like you, me, Benny went for cruise back to Sydney together. And the first thing, you know, because Memz, you know, she grew up here, and the first thing she did is like, Boria Oxford, like that.
Oxford.
Right. She just started playing all the Fijian jams, like, you know, like singing, drinking style, and I was like, Memz, is that really
Throwing me
your
under the bus. I'm cultured now. Cultured. Even drinking grog.
Wow.
I was like, I brought Benny grog back when I came back from VT, like quarantine. And everyone's like, oh, so we're going to Lassie? I'm like, hell yeah. But obviously we're all dry at the moment. But it's crazy to even think like, Memz who was just, I don't know, I feel like, see you on the train.
Yeah.
Memz playing sport. Like, you know, it's crazy. And then it's like, oh, Memz playing Fijiana. But like, I don't see or, you know, until you guys crack and I'm just like, oh, shut up. Like, it's just me. You don't need to broadcast it. Like, it's fine.
Because we were cruising down, I was like, wow, like, you know, she's like jamming to Fijian music now. Like, I was like, wow, I was just like, wow, that's, you know, like, you know, you can sort of go VT, you know, all the experiences and all that, and you learn, but it was just awesome. But
come back cultured.
Life after footy. Do you see yourself still in the game, helping out?
Yeah, 100%. I've actually thought about that coming home for COVID. Like, I was basically stranded in Viti. I came on the Air Force flight.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So that was an experience in itself. Like, my siblings are like, you need to come home. Like, if COVID breaks out in Fiji, you're screwed. Like, the medical medical supplies over there isn't as good as here. So that's why I came home. Otherwise, no, I'd be living the life in Viti. But yeah, I guess it's good. Like, I needed to obviously financially start putting money back into the bank. Just setting myself up again. Like, it was hard to even adjust training full time and working full time, or even working casual and training full time. Like, the balance. And I was like, man, it makes me think like, oh, I took for granted what I was having in Viti. Like, training 3 sessions, yes. Eating, sleeping in a hotel or in dorms with my teammates, but that was my job. So it makes me more hungry to go home.
Wow.
And just start training. Like, I'm training here and there, but it's not the same when you're in the squad, like at camp, on base. But back to your question. I'm ranting here.
I love it. Yeah.
Life after footy, I really want to get into the management role for Fijiana because we haven't had a stable manager or even like a female leader, role model that girls can come to and just dump all their stuff. Like, you know, we're emotional creatures, females. If we're gonna go, yeah, that's too loud. Turn your mic off. If yeah, you know, like if we go to our coaches about, you know, like girl issues or whatever, they're not gonna understand. I mean, they may have daughters, but their daughters don't go to their fathers for that. They go to their mothers. You know? So it's just good. I hope that I can get into that manager position, and also I still get to travel around and like look after the girls, but make sure, you know, everything's the way it should be. Or I was even thinking of like referee.
Oh, nice.
Like, but still on the world circuit. So I'm still like, that's another learning for me. Especially if I'm learning how to play still.
Yeah.
Like the rules and stuff will be totally different. But we don't have anyone that I know that's Pacific Islander, Fijian.
Female.
I mean, we have them reffing at home, but not on the world circuit.
Oh, wow.
And females, like, it's our time at like in the world right now. Like, we're dominating. Sorry, guys.
Hey, nah.
But you know, like, so either that, if not, this kind of stuff, getting the message out, like, paid or not paid, just to share your story. If it hits one person, job's done.
100%.
I think you'll do good with the manager side and like mentoring with the girls, like with Fijiana, because you're right. There's a big hole there.
There's a big hole. Like even just development, like leading up, like a pathway. It's there, but it's not as what it should be. Yeah.
Maybe Memz can change that.
So
You heard it here first. Breaking news.
but yeah.
I loved it.
Any other questions?
I think, we'll wrap it now.
Yeah, I think we wrap it out here, man.
All right, we'll wrap it now. Memz, thank you very much for your time. We value everything that you've done so far, and you're an inspiration not only to us, to the nation, but also another young girl that wants to achieve her dreams. And thank you for sharing your story, sharing your heart.
Thank you.
Geez, you've had a tough. You've had a tough. You've had a tough ride. So
yeah, it hasn't been easy, but like people looking out from out looking in, everyone thinks, oh yeah, no, like it's easy. Like it was freaking hard, but worth it.
Hard. Is there like on a final note? Is there a last word of encouragement you have to someone, a young up and comer that wants to try and achieve their dreams?
Just take every opportunity that comes, like good or bad. It's still good at the end of the day in the long run. And just do it. Like forget all the naysayers or the people that are not in your corner, because one day they are cheering for you.
Yep.
Even if they're not cheering for you, they're cheering for Fijiana, or they're like that's still cheering for you, or they're cheering for the company or CEO if you run your business. That's your dream. They're cheering for you. They may say no in the beginning, or they may, not be in your corner.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everyone bandwagons.
Vinaka.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sis. Much love. Vinaka.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Till next time. This was episode 4 with Memz. Thanks, Memz, for dropping in.
The superstar. Bang.
You know. Yeah. You know.